Hi friends, Cathy Madeo here, back with another video. This one, a highly requested one coming from you all. So I have been recently sharing a lot of my home personal practice on my shorts on YouTube, and I've been getting a lot of requests to practice along in real time. So that's what this class is going to be. It's all about getting really deep into your forward fold, and these are the exact techniques that I use in my own practice to do that. For this video, you're going to need a set of blocks. If you don't have something like that, just do your best with household items. I actually have 3, so if you have 3, have 3. And then now you can do this video without this band, but I've also gotten a lot of requests about how to get this band. So this is just a long resistance band that I got on Amazon. I'm going to link it in the description box. It's actually on my Amazon storefront. I have all of my favorite yoga products on there, by the way, so feel free to shop my Amazon store. This is only $8. I've been practicing yoga for 30 years. This is hands down the best investment I've ever made in a prop. I use it in so many different ways. Now, if you don't have this yet or you don't have anything like it, don't worry about it. We're only going to use it during 2 of the drills, and you can do it without the strap. But if you want to invest in it, hit the link in the description box. It'll take you to purchase this off of my Amazon storefront. All right, let's get started. We'll get started on our backs with a simple nerve flossing drill. You'll bend both knees, take your right knee, lift the foot off the floor, thread your hands behind so that they're clasped behind your thigh. Have your foot flexed as your knee is bent, and then as you straighten your leg, you'll point your foot. So bend your knee, flexed foot, and straighten and point. And we'll just continue to do this. So part of the way that I practice at home, especially when I'm trying to focus just on maybe a single skill like forward folds or deepening my flexibility, is a lot of drill-based stuff like this. So it's not going to feel like your traditional yoga practice here. We're doing just drills to deepen our forward folds. Take 2 more, and then we'll just switch. And for me, as a single mom and business owner, just being really busy, practicing yoga as long as I have, at this point, I like to be efficient in my practice. So doing these kind of drills is a bit of a shortcut for me to go right into deep flexibility with still taking care of my body and warming up. And then we get more strong and flexible as we do these drills as well. Okay, 1 more on this side. All right, now from here, I want you to straighten out your legs. Take a moment to tuck your pelvis under so your low back is trying to flatten against the mat. And begin to hug your legs together, point your feet, hover your feet off the mat. And then we'll take your chin into your chest and bring your arms up. So hollow body shape. You might be wondering why I'm doing core work for a forward fold, but the torso compresses to your thighs in a forward fold, so you want a strong front body and a long back body. So just a little bit here, stay with me. If you want to make it harder, you can reach your arms above your head, squeeze everything in. If your low back is popping off the mat, you can always bend your knees a little bit, hold. And we will release. Now we'll just rock and roll, or you can roll to your side. Just going to come and stand. So have your feet hips distance apart. Tilt your pelvis forward. Begin to bend your knees a little bit here. So for me, I didn't warm up at all before this class, and I'm not like naturally flexible. So I have to bend my knees a lot at the beginning. And if you're wondering why I would have you do that, check out this video on how to unlock your hamstrings fast. So nice bend in the knees until you can get your chest down to your thighs. You're grabbing opposite elbow for ragdoll. And I want you to just fully let your head release, jaw release, and you're just feeling the, especially like the low back and glutes, just stretch and release, not so much focused on the hamstrings here yet. And then if you'd like, you can start to sway side to side. And as you sway side to side, one of your legs might straighten out a little bit, and that's great. Okay, now we're going to do another drill, and instead of swaying side to side like we usually do in our yoga practice, I want you to rock forward and back. And as you do that, again, you can have a bend in your knees. You want to kind of swing your chest towards your thighs, and I'm doing it a little bit more forcefully, so I'm not swaying anymore, I'm doing these rocks. Do about 5 more. And just release and hang. Release your hands and then roll up one vertebra at a time. Feel your vertebrae stack. Those are your facet joints there in the spine is what I'm referring to, until you're standing all the way up. Okay, you'll grab 2 of your blocks and have them frame here at the front of your mat, and just step your right foot in between your hands and your left foot back. So we've got a pyramid stance. Feet are hips distance apart. And you'll tilt the pelvis forward, coming down with a flat back till you hit about 90 degrees, and then allow your upper back to round here. Now adjust the blocks as needed. We're going to start, I'm going to move my block so you can see my foot. You're going to start going back and then up on your tippy toes. Back and then up on your tippy toes. Back and up, back and up, back and up. One more on this side. You'll inhale, long spine here. Tack your right hip back. I'm even taking my thumb into my hip crease, pull the hip back and fold. So we're looking for that compression, torso to thigh. Now, maybe not so obvious, but this is how I practice, right? I've been practicing yoga 30 years. So, and this is not exactly how I practice yoga, but practice some deep flexibility stuff. So this class might not be for everyone. So if you're looking for more of yoga poses to deepen your forward folds, you can check out this other video of mine. Okay, we'll inhale, lift, step your left foot forward, come up, all the way up, and we'll just switch sides. So right foot back, feet hips distance, pelvis is tilting forward for our forward folds. It's got to tilt forward, low spine draws in. We're at about a 90 degree, and then you can flex the upper back here as you fold. And we're going forward and rocking back and then coming up onto the tippy toes and back. Just moving my blocks so you can see my feet up on the tippy toes and back, up on the tippy toes and back. Last one. Good. And then you'll fold and you can place like a horseshoe grip in your hip crease, tack it back. It's called hip traction to perhaps get a deeper fold here. Deep breaths. Inhale, halfway lift. You'll take one of your blocks, set it down in the lowest setting. Take your right foot so that the toe mounds are on the block, so the edge of the block, okay? And then you can bend your left knee and straighten your right leg, send your hips back. So getting now into your gastrocnemius, that's your calf muscle, and the Achilles heel a little bit. I want you to drag your right heel into the mat or the floor and fold. And now we'll take that stretch into a pyramid stance. So step your left foot back a little bit, straighten the leg, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Deep breaths. So depending on what we're doing, wherever you happen to be more tight, you might feel it more. You'll notice there's a balance of both stretching and strengthening in this class. So I use a lot of active flexibility. That means not using our hands or pressing into anything to stretch. We'll do that a little bit later. One more breath. Okay, and then we'll switch. So set your block down, reorganize your blocks. Left toe mounts here. Your back foot is back a little bit. You can bend the legs so that you can kind of lean the hips back. So taking a bit of a lighter stretch right here as we do this. And then we'll go into our pyramid stance, feet hips distance apart, halfway lift, long spine, always trying to get that low spine to draw in, and then using your front core muscles to fold. And then taking those deep breaths as we hold, so you're sending signals to your central nervous system that you're safe here, it's okay. So we don't want to force into our flexibility, we want to ease in. Okay, we'll release, step the back foot forward, and we'll still work with our blocks here. We'll take a big step back of your left foot here. So now we're in this like lunge position. Allow your hips to sink down, so stretching a little bit here through the groin, and then again, I'm back on that heel, and then we'll just do this dynamic stretching here, just a couple rounds. Good, and the next thing you'll do is you'll lower your back knee and straighten your front leg. So a runner's stretch or a half split here. Okay, so we're going to do some non-traditional things here to work that active flexibility I was talking about. So basically we're going to try to lift this right leg off the ground, and sometimes it can feel really heavy if you've never done this before. So drag the right hip back, the thigh bone back into the hip socket, push down into the blocks, and try to lift your right leg up. Keep the leg straight, use the quadricep, and set it down. So we're using quadricep and hip flexors, which we're also using in our forward folds. Ooh, one more. Okay, and now we'll take a block and set it underneath our heel. So we're increasing the intensity here of this stretch and our runner's stretch, and we're folding. You can imagine that you're pushing the right heel down into the block. Continuing to let the upper back even stretch, the fascia along the back stretch as you fold. Okay, well, inhale out of that. Take your blocks with you. Big step forward. We're just going to switch sides. So right foot comes back. You've got your blocks here. Hips come down, little rock. You can have your blocks on the higher or low setting. We're coming up onto the heel. So bend and straighten. Bend. This is fun. It's like I'm actually in my home right now, so it's like we're all just practicing together in our homes. I love it. Okay, bend your front leg, drop your back knee. We're straightening our front leg. You can slide the blocks back. And here we go for this active flexibility thing. So you'll bring your left hip back in space, long spine. You can push down to the blocks, lift up. Think of that core compression here. And down, good, and lift. And down, lift as high as you can, keep your legs straight. And down, excellent. We'll place the block right underneath the heel. Inhale, half lift. Press your heel down, flex your foot for this here. So we're still getting the Achilles heel and the calf and fold, as well as the hamstring. A whole back line here stretching, which is what we want for that deep forward fold. Inhale up, you can take your left leg behind you. We're going to come onto our seat now, and we'll set up so that we're going to sit on the blocks. If you have 3 blocks, you'll sit on 2. If you have 2 blocks, you will sit on 1 block, okay? So propping yourself up. You'll have the other block ready to go for your hands, and we'll bring our legs out in front of us. Now remember, with our forward folds, we don't want to tilt our pelvis under, so even here in this awkward position, work that pelvis so it's moving forward. You'll take your block, have it in between your hands, and I want you to squeeze the block into your hands. And this whole next drill is really designed with that active flexibility in mind to get you trained to engage your front body, to send signals to your back body to stretch. So you'll take an inhale in and exhale. Instead of thinking toes, I want you to think across the room. You're trying to pass the block across the room and you're not going to even touch the floor. And then inhale back up. And this is what we'll be doing, down and up. So reach all the way across the room and up, all the way across the room. Good. And up. And I'm using my exhale as I compress and fold because we want to empty the diaphragm of the breath so that there's as little space as possible in there. One more. Inhale up. Okay, next we're going to invert that. So now we'll have our feet or our heels on the blocks and we'll be up here on our seat. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to sweat. So anyone says that flexibility isn't getting you strong, then I guess they're not doing this video here. Okay, I'm just teasing y'all. Okay, here we go. So reach the block up, still trying to tilt that pelvis in. Use your exhale and try to fold over, all the way over your feet if you can. No big deal if you're not there yet, but remember you're reaching all the way across the room, way past your feet. Think of bringing all those core muscles in towards your thighs. Last one. Ooh. Okay. All right, so the next thing that we'll do, if you have your block, set it here. You can still do this without your block, and your block has different settings, so you go as high or as low as you want. And still working that active flexibility, we'll try to lift our leg and make clearance over the block. So big lift, and you go as high as you can go. I'm actually got some weakness on this leg from my spine injury. So you just go, woo. I'm giving myself a little assist here. You'll see the difference in my opposite leg in just a second. Woo. Give me one more. Okay, and now we will switch. So going opposite leg up and over, really feeling the quadricep and the hip flexors, lifting the leg up. So you really shouldn't need your hands down. Your leg is doing all of the work. Okay, we're going to do this one more time. So each side, if you have the band, you'll use it here. And if you don't, you'll just do the same thing we just did. So you'll loop the band around 1 foot around the toe mounds. Have your knees bent here. I'm pulling the band around my body. And I'm going to loop it around the other foot. Now this is just creating a little bit of resistance, something to press into. And I'm placing it right underneath my rib cage. So I'm lifting up and over, up and over, up and over. So with the band or without the band, you're still doing this. And now your foot has something to press into. Okay, switch sides. Nice long spine, nice and easy. It's not a race, so go slow so that your body can really feel what's happening. Nice and controlled. All right. Okay, so now if you have your band on, keep it on. Otherwise, no worries. We're all going to straighten our legs out in front of us. You'll inhale up. Exhale, fold. Make sure your band is underneath your ribs so it doesn't slide up. And hold, no hands, so nothing touching the ground. Super active here. Hold, hold, hold. And then we can fold a couple breaths. And And we'll inhale up, bend your knees to remove the strap. We'll set that all aside. To meet me standing on your mat, have your feet hips distance apart, and we'll do big toe to hand pose. So you take your 2 peace fingers, you're going to wrap them to the inside of your toes. Now we'll start standing, have your hands on your hips. Remember, pelvis is tilting forward, forward, forward. You're bending your knees if you need to, but at this point in the class, if you've got your forward fold, you'd have your legs nice and straight. Interlace or take your peace fingers to the inside of the toes. You're wrapping the thumbs around. Elbows are wide here. Take a deep inhale in and exhale. Fold. And when I fold here, I'm thinking for me a little bit less of trying to like crank my neck in, thinking of the crown of my head reaching actually towards the floor and the chest towards the thighs. And then from there, if I have that, I can start to curl my chin in towards my chest for that deeper fold. Inhale up, you can bring your hands to your hips. We'll come all the way up to stand. All right, we've done quite a lot of work here for our forward folds. I know I can feel the difference in my body. So let's go in for our forward fold. Standing here. So feet can be together or hips distance. I like to do for balance here. And we'll tilt the pelvis forward, 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 forward as far as you can. At a certain point, the torso or the spine will flex, right? Because we're in a forward fold, so allow the upper back to round. You can bring your hands behind your ankles here just to help pull yourself in, but I want you to think of using those front core muscles so the hands are really just there as a little bit guide or just to give you like an extra little depth here. Now think of engaging your quadriceps. That sends the signals to your hamstrings to stretch. And then same thing with the core and the hip flexors so that we stretch the glute maximus and those back core muscles as well. So hopefully you're feeling nice and deep right now with your forward fold. Now, you'll notice my palms are on the ground, my elbows are bent. Whenever you're ready, you can come on up. And that might signal like, wow, okay, maybe I could go even deeper. The floor is a little bit in the way. Maybe there's some more depth there. Similar when we were on our seat and we were passing our hands past our feet. And that's where what I did in that short that I posted on my YouTube channel was with the blocks here. So it's like, okay, well, maybe we could try raising the floor. Now, obviously, this is a challenging thing. Have the wall here, only try it perhaps if you've got your deep forward fold already. Just always being playful, thinking of ways to continue to evolve our practice here, but remembering to go in stages and honoring your body. So again, this becomes a little bit of a balancing thing as well. So distribute the weight equally on those corners of the feet. Everything's working here. And then when you're ready, you can come up to stand or just step off those blocks. Okay, my friends, I hope that was fun. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed practicing in the way that I've been doing kind of my home practice for the last several years, really targeted on deepening my flexibility using different techniques even outside of the yoga practice that I can then bring into my yoga practice to help deepen yoga postures and increase my flexibility and build strength. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more in this style, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.